You are now listening to Belligerent State of Mind.
Belligerent train of thought. Sometimes, of course, with this type of culture that we in called the cancel instead of the council culture, you know what I mean? I just want to let y'all know that the Dave Chappelle joint dropped last night. For those who don't know, of course, you can see, D is always ready. I mean, come on, man. He knows what the deal is, man. He don't play. You know what I mean? He already knew what I was talking about. He already got the half-baked. If you look at his background down there. Dave Chappelle, of course, dropped last night, and he also mentioned it's in Detroit. And if you remember Sticks and Stones, he talked about how, Detroit was when it all went wrong one night when he hit some, and next thing you know, he was like, oh, I'm going to bomb. And then he went out there and everybody started booing. And then he went out there and bought thousands of dollars worth of candy and just handed them out to the homeless. So it was like, anyway, he explains that in the first few minutes of the special. He also says this is going to be his last for a long time. So my belligerent train of thought right now is his content in there.
Controversy. Well, you know what? It is what it is, man. I don't know about the controversy. Go ahead.
I'm not calling it controversial. You know what it is? Because to me, it's not controversial. You know what I mean? It's just
What is it called? It's called comedy. It's called fucking comedy, yo.
I think that's what it's called, right?
It's called comedy.
It's called comedy. That's all it is. He goes in though, and he says it, it gets worse. He's talking about the LBGTQs, and he's talking about the studs, you know what I'm saying? And he talking about lesbians. He goes all the way in. Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie to you one bit. Like, this shit is crazy. Like, you watching it, you're like, yo, this guy does not, he has no filter. It is what it is.
It's a breath of fresh air, man.
It is, man.
It's a breath of fresh air, man.
It is. But you know what? My belligerent train of thought, right? it really talks about how people receive comedy, and people also receive two different ends of the spectrum of a topic, right? And how your narrative and how you were raised, it definitely differentiates.
we can't get that word together, man.
I just wanted to use it. You know how you differentiate what is what. Now, if you don't have any interaction with gay people, of course, you know what I mean? You probably wouldn't get a lot of these jokes. If you don't know anybody in that's feeling defensive about their status or whether they're gay or whatever, you wouldn't understand. Your narrative would be totally different. But what is in control? We all know the media is in control. We all know who's in control, right? We know that we're just a bunch of puppets walking around this motherfucker. I'm sorry. We got strings in back of us, and there's other people telling us how we're supposed to feel. But when is that gonna turn? I always tell you, D, I remember when we was doing We So Classic a few years ago, I said, we're infiltrating, D. We're infiltrating. We got people in the background. You know what I mean? And I remember when I said also about another subject, when I said, no, you don't want to know about your history. No, don't learn. Don't learn, right? All it's going to do is infuriate you more. It's going to make you more upset, walk around with a bigger boulder on your shoulder, right? You know what I mean? So it's my belligerent state of mind, my belligerent thought, my train of thought that just makes me feel like, do as you can, right? And do as you do, but don't let nobody else do you. But the problem is everybody be letting everybody else do them. On them. What the fuck are y'all doing? Because sometimes you gotta understand it. You're gonna be in the game or you're gonna sit your ass in the bleachers. Sometimes you gotta understand you're gonna ride hard or you're just gonna go home. Sometimes you can't stick. I remember one time I went to a church and the preacher said, You cannot. I see some of y'all right now in this right now listening to me preach in this sermon that was in the club last night. Some of y'all was drinking, got pissy drunk last night. Some of y'all had unprotected sex with somebody you never met before in your life. But then you here in front of me listening to my sermon going, amen. Nah, God don't want you one foot in the church and the other foot in the world. You know what I mean? Honestly, it's like two different sides of the spectrum. Is so wide. Sometimes you understand why people don't even know which way to go. Like, hold on. Am I supposed to balance it out like this or like that? Am I supposed to be this extreme? Is the preacher right? The preacher is damn sure damn right, because there was some people in there that was in the club the night before. Crazy, had a train ran on them, and then they in the sermon listening, going amen, amen. Yo, I understand.
That's what called a human being, though. It's called a human being.
It's called being human. It's called being human, right? So since when did we not understand that we are all human? We all make mistakes. Since when did we feel like it's not up to us to take responsibility for the things that we do, things that we say to other people? Since when we feel, right, that, you know what? I'm not in control anymore, right? I'm just going to let whatever happens, and I'm just going to fall back. And on top of that, have other entities control our state of mind and our thought process. By what is it? Is it the lack of mentorship? Maybe it's the lack of, of definitive thinking. Is it the lack of decision making? I don't know what the fuck it is, but I definitely feel that one way or the other, people have got to take control of their damn selves, my G.
Facts.
Well, recess. I kind of have an idea of what it could possibly be. It's social media and groupthink. It's a lot of groupthink. A lot of people wake up in the morning. The first thing they do is look at their social media, and they look for other people to tell them what they're going to be upset about today, or what they're going to laugh at today, or what they're going to or whatever. A lot of people do that. They look they look at something and they read the comment section to see, how do I feel about this? They don't even know how they feel until they read the comment section. So everybody's upset. Now I'm upset. Thank you.
So my thing is, if you think the way other people thinks, how in the fuck are you gonna be a goddamn individual?
Well, people are not individuals. That's the thing. They're not in this day. I mean, there are still some people that don't pay attention to that bullshit. They don't. But we look at how many users are on these platforms. Billions, probably billions, right?
Yeah.
Billions, man. That's group thing, man. And they tell you who. Like I haven't even checked Dave Chappelle thing. What's that came out this morning? I watched it today.
Yeah,
guarantee by tomorrow. Guarantee they're already going to start the Dave Chappelle. She probably started today already. They're going to start it. They're going to start the cancel shit, and can't give it to that. Shout out to fucking Dave Chappelle, man. Shout out to Dave Chappelle. I grew up on comedy, man. I love comedy. I love it. I love it. And comedians can be. I'm sorry, man, but comedians are like, they express themselves. It's jokes. It's all jokes. And they can express themselves, man. I grew up on that. We know if you watch all the stuff now, but it's cringe or whatever the kid. It was just comedy. All the Eddie Murphy, even somebody like a Lisa Lampanelli. I laugh at that shit.
She is hilarious. Thank you.
Yeah.
And she's racist as fuck.
Racist as shit, but she's hilarious. She's hilarious. My man Paul Mooney, hilarious. I love Andrew Dice Clay. Hilarious.
Paul Mooney, hilarious. Do you understand one of the greatest comedians of all time, Richard Pryor, burnt himself in a hotel room smoking crack, and he talked about it on stage.
He talked about smoking crack. He talked about sucking. He talked about giving fellatio to a man on stage.
And even acted it out where he jumped out the window.
Come
on fire. Come on.
It is what it is, yo.
And you know what? Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, all these comedians that we just named tonight. It has been consistently where they make fun of everybody.
Exactly.
Not just one type of person.
Exactly.
Everybody. Nobody is safe. Everybody gets it. And what pisses me off the most is that this society is so fucking soft. Like when in the 90s, nobody was talking about cancel culture. Who in the world was talking about cancel culture?
Never.
They weren't even trying to cancel O.J. Simpson, and we know he did it. You know what I'm saying? The only people that yeah, I'm sure.
Yo, but these people actually take responsibility about what happened. Do you remember Martin? Remember the story about Martin?
Yeah.
Remember that story, guys?
Yep.
And he told it on stage. These people take responsibility. They own it. I fucked up. This is what happened. But people don't do that in regular life. It looks like they hide. They look for time to maybe people forget about what just happened and they just hide behind it and just chill and just then maybe pretend like everything is all right. Listen, ain't nothing wrong with letting it hang. Ain't nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, I live by that motto, yo. Like, just let it go. Just admit what you did. We can make fun of it. We could go ahead and move forward. You can't keep yourself bottled up in that mentality. You just can't do it.
Or what they do, and I said this on the pod before, they will not take any responsibility. They'll say that you were wrong.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You take responsibility. Yeah, you're right. I'm wrong. But then when it comes to them, oh no, they're not wrong in nothing. Nothing was wrong. Nothing sparked anything. So I just feel like, and that's why I disassociate myself from folks who do not take responsibility for their own. You know what I'm saying? You can throw the stone and hide the hand. Throw the stone and hide the hand. That's basically what it is.
Dave Chappelle says in the special about people approaching him. And he said to one of them, stay in the comments, bitch. Like, that's the truth. It seems like if you have no interaction, you don't know how it feels on the other side of the spectrum. You don't know how the interactions, you speaking from your naive narrative or whatever narrative you had. What's up with the judging out this mother? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. And this is exactly what happens. It's the gang mentality, like D said. It's everybody 100%. Following the crowd. D said it excellently. I couldn't have said it better. You read people's comments to find out how you're gonna feel about
it. Exactly. And people comment on a lot of these things. They don't even see the source. They don't even know what the fuck they upset about when they watch a 2-minute clip of something that was an hour. Something that was an hour. And then they got a whole fucking opinion on this shit. Come on, man.
But isn't this social media shit, that clickbait, that one-liner, that, you know what I mean?
The headline, yes. That's what it's there for.